All right, hold on. Let's try it. Hold on. Boom. 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 Let's start. How many bosses? Just in this, he's just main game boss. Let me see. Damn, no lore vid. Wait, what do you mean? Sanfo about to drop? When? Give me a fucking date. Okay. So if I got to list the Bloodbourne bosses by tier, my man's right here, as far as difficulty is concerned, immediately at the bottom. All he does is get big in the boss fight. Nothing crazy. It just is what it is. It's just not a hard boss fight. Same thing for this one right here. Although it's a bit cooler. I'll put it in C tier because they do that little combined comet attack, and I did die like 5 to 10 times on this boss because I got one hit randomly most of the time. He still whipped my ass that one time. He got lucky because I got greedy. That's what happened. Okay, I'm not even about to entertain you for real. Let's see this one. Who is this? Is this the one reborn? What the hell is this? This is amygdala. Oh, this is amygdala. Ass. Horrible boss fight. You're stuck in a very tight space, and you can pretty much just run underneath the boss and just continuously attack. The point where it rips off his arms, you can completely nullify by getting close to him. And you can also nullify his laser beam attack, which he only does if you're far enough away or if you're dumb enough to let yourself be hit by it from far enough away. But you can just run right up on him and just keep beating him. I don't know why you would go with any other option and fight him the way that they would want you to reveal their moveset, but I just don't think that this is a good boss. Horrible placement, too, because I don't know why he's in the area that he's in, why he wouldn't have a much bigger range or area to affect you with. He's kind of like a godly creature, so you would want to put him in a much larger area like Elden Beast at the end of Elden Ring. So many areas to attack you from, and if he wants to fly, I mean, that wouldn't be bad either. I wouldn't mind that either. I feel like you struggled. I beat him in 2 tries. We just chatting. Bloodstarved Beast, I think this is. If I'm wrong, then let me know I'm wrong, but I think this is Bloodstarved Beast. This is actually probably a good test, I feel like, of learning the game. It's a very satisfying boss to beat if you beat him without the blood beast little pellet thingies that you throw at the wall and then you let him draw yourself to him. So I did no vial, no hit run this boss. I did. It was extremely satisfying. But to somebody who didn't beat him that way, you might have him at B tier. But I think he's designed well. Only thing I don't like about this boss fight is the poison doesn't really seem to have a consistent area effect. So if it's, I don't know if you're too close. Like sometimes you're running away from it and your poison meter is still going up. I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know what that is, but if everything was working the way it was supposed to, I would say this is kind of like a pretty decent boss. Like I enjoyed this fight, even after, you know what I'm saying, learning it. It's not that hard to get into or learn, but it's still satisfying. This looks like the Cleric Beast. I think this is Cleric Beast, right? If this is Cleric Beast, I'm going to put him in C tier. I really don't like this fight like that. I don't like when you have to fight him because the fight is so long-winded. And technically, you don't have to fight him at the point that I fought him. Y'all tricked me into fighting him when I did. If I fought him when I could do way more damage, the boss fight would have been way shorter. But it just felt like such a long, drawn-out boss fight because I fought him with pretty much my intro stats. Not a bad boss, but the screaming is really annoying. I don't really love the soundtrack either. So I'm going to just put him here. I don't think he's too hard of a boss, but I also don't think that he's like a pushover either. You know what I'm saying? Pretty simple. The electric dog thing that you fight in the back of the prison, I think this is where you fight him. Not a hard fight, you know. He has like a little AoE attack. He's pretty aggressive, but once you learn his move set, he's not hard to fight at all. You can really stay close to him. If you got a weapon that does enough damage, break his legs, boom, he's immediately out of the way. He's shot. He's done. He can't really do anything to you. I don't really feel much of anything about this boss. Could have been a much cooler fight, but it is what it is, you know. This is the daughter. I don't like this fight at all. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in D tier. Really stupid hitbox when she charges at you. I fought her again when I was playing in the dungeons. Really stupid boss. Another boss that you can kind of cheese a little bit. Her big area effect don't really do much, and when she swings, it's like she's swinging twice. She gets to hit you twice. It's a little bit more careful design that went into this one, so I'll put it at C tier. I ain't gonna put it in D tier, but I don't think it's a great boss. It's just kind of blah to me. Father Gascoigne, putting him in the A tier category. Not a bad boss. He's staggerable. He teaches you how to parry. He has a different variation halfway through his fight as well. He kind of becomes a different beast, so that's cool to see, I guess. Not really entertaining to see when it's your first time beating him and fighting him, because he's hard as fuck, it seems like, but when you learn him, he's a good boss fight to me. Is this Gerwin? Whatever the last dude's name is, he teaches you to be aggressive. Cool. I mean, I like the final boss fight, but I don't know. You know, the super armor thing in the second half, but he doesn't actually change his moveset. Kind of annoying. You know, it's like this fake difficulty. Let's pretend that the second phase is harder because you can't stagger him now. Technically, yeah, you can parry him, but I think it's a waste of a character at that point. You could have just gave him a moveset similar to Maria, because Maria is still staggerable, but at least her blades, they start doing blood damage after. Then they start doing fire damage after. Like, she kind of becomes a totally different beast. So I'm going to put him at B tier because his moves are great. His soundtrack is great, but the second half is just kind of like a letdown. Like, I like it, but I don't really love that fight, you know. If there was a different final boss fight, I think I could have easily put those up there too. It's kind of weird beating all these beasts for the final boss to be a hunter. I don't know. I mean, that's fair. I don't mind that. I would have liked for there to be like maybe 3 final hunters, not in the same boss fight, but like that you fight progressively, like one back to back to back, and they're all staggerable, and they kind of, you know, I think Father Gascoigne, I think, actually should have been saved for later in the game. And I probably would have liked him a little bit more. Who is this? Is this Maria? I think this is Maria. Maria's moveset is S. It's a fun fight. I'll put it up there. It's a fun fight. Lawrence. If we never saw the Cleric Beast, I would put Lawrence at probably B or A tier if we never saw the Cleric Beast. But since he's a DLC boss and he really low key is just like a reskin with like a little extra movement. I think he's more fun than the Cleric Beast, so I could put him at B tier. But if I never saw the Cleric Beast and then I fought him, then it would be like a great fight. But as it stands, I can't put him any higher than that. I don't really think he's that great of a fight. This dude with the scythe at the top of that snowy mountain castle. In theory, this is a good boss fight, but it is really easy. Like, I don't know what they could have done to make this a harder boss fight. Because I accidentally hit his sword, and once you figure out that his sword is what is preventing him from attacking you with the arrows or the frenzy, his whole fight is super easy. The skull things that he does, like maybe he seems easy because he's way more fair in comparison to the other bosses on here that do like bullshit. So I don't really know. I could put him at B tier, to be honest. He's really a C tier opponent though. I don't really think he's that difficult or that hard. I'll put him here because it is what it is. Creativity wise is good, but like once like his shit is just like way too eager or way too easy to get out of. His AoE attacks aren't bad. The little skull, the aesthetic, his design I think is great. His design and the setting that you fight him in, you got enough space to get around. Great, but I just don't think he's hard enough, especially for the run that you have to make to go beat him too. I don't really think so. Just not my cup of tea. We got Ludwig, which is my personal favorite in the game. I'm gonna go ahead and put him at S tier because Ludwig is the second phase is awesome. And really, these two, I think what's really interesting about them is really just like the longer you fight them, the more it feels like you're fighting somebody else, which is good because I don't think a lot of these fights have that. Like, a lot of them are just like you hack and slash until you beat them. But these two at the top, like, progressively, it feels like you're changing the pace of the game because somebody else is coming into the mix. Like, Ludwig literally goes from Beast to King halfway through. Maria, different move sets, different additions, blood, fire. It looks good. Soundtrack wise, they're great, and their weapons are great too. It's just an overall great. They have the best everything to me. What we got here, I think this is the lady with that's trying to protect her baby. Not gonna lie, really nice design, really cool design, but outside of that, she doesn't really do anything. It's kind of like her back is broke, her spine is broken, and she's being held up by something. Like, she fights like a puppet. It's kind of weird, but it don't feel like you're fighting like a real organism or something like that. Nice design, but in terms of overall difficulty and like, do I feel like anything about her? Like, do I feel like a triumph or anything? Not really. I'm putting her in C tier. Nice design though. They could have went somewhere crazy with her design, but they just didn't for whatever reason. This dude's a bitch. Dude in the helmet, bro. I don't fuck with you. You ran away the entire boss fight. Once I finally get to you, you take a little damage. You run away again. Then when I finally get you in a tight space, you start spamming spells that can one hit me. But you don't have anything good. You're like narcissistic. His inclusion in this is like narcissistic because he doesn't actually live up to the importance and the amount of time that is required to actually beat him. Like, he's just so extra for no reason. I'm gonna put him here, and this is where he's staying high key. I don't know what this is. I don't even think I fought this. I guess this is the beast that y'all were talking about, the optional. So I don't know where I would put. I'm not gonna put that anywhere. Is this the one Reborn? This one right here? I think this is one Reborn. If it is, you're going straight in the trash. Bad boss fight. The witches at the top just make things extra. That's the secret boss. Okay, cool. The witches at the top just make everything extra. You go beat them. It's literally just a Tower Knight reskin. Nothing crazy. The simplicity of the greatness of the Tower Knight fight is that it doesn't try to get wrapped up in anything like important. It just is. It's just a big knight. That's it. Like, whatever this boss tries to be is super edgy in comparison, I feel like, but it's really just a reskin. This is Orphan of Kos. I'm gonna put it in S tier. Now, this isn't the most difficult fight. But I really, really like. Again, I like Orphan of Kos for the same reason I like Maria and Ludwig, because progressively as you go through the fight, it just seems like you're fighting a different person, like more and more and more. Like, he ends way different than he starts. Ludwig ends way different than he starts. Maria ends way different than she starts. It is what it is, you know? Became annoying after a while. I didn't spend too much time on him. I beat him in like 6 or 7 tries. So maybe I got to appreciate the aspects of him where he wasn't annoying, but he was just all right enough for me to be like, all right, I like what I'm seeing from you. I think he's cool too. And that big lightning thing, if I fight him in an area that's like a lot of room, I actually like him. I like Orphan of Kos. Like, he's not too hard, but I think he's probably my favorite between him and Ludwig, to be honest. This spider thingy, no. Terrible. I got to beat 1,000 spiders just to start slashing you. When I get close to you, you literally do nothing. You just get beat. You get wailed on the whole time. That's it. Nothing crazy. You're just there. This boss fight isn't hard. The shadows, not hard at all. It's made to look like it's hard because it's 3 of them. Honestly, this would have been a way better boss fight if it was just one, and they focused all of the moves of all 3 of them into one person. They could have had a boss fight similar to what we had with Gerwin or whatever his name is. The snakes at the end are cheap as fuck. You don't know where they're spawning up from. They can one hit kill you for the most part. Usually one or two hits. Once you get hit once, the other ones can, and they're like across the map attacks. Unless you see them coming and you can get over to them in time, you don't even want to get to the second phase of this where they're all with the, snake shits and they could just summon them each. Like, I just think it's annoying. It's not a hard boss fight, but it's like they're trying to make it harder, in my opinion, by like adding that little extra layer. And there's 3 of them. Not a hard boss fight on its own. I don't even think it's a cool design. I just think you put snakes in front of a bunch of people with black clothing on and made it seem like, oh, this is great. But if they'd have put it in one body, fire that he can breathe, he can shoot it at you, and he got a fire sword attack, I would have liked that. That would have been cool to me. So I actually like that if they did that. Amelia, my most deaths in this game come from Amelia. My most deaths from Amelia. And do I think she's a hard boss? No. Do I think that there's an element in her boss fight that tries to make it seem like she's hard? No. I mean, yes, there is. And that's the fact that she can heal herself. And you know what's more annoying? There's no other boss in this game, I think, that can heal themselves. So the weapon that you get to throw at her specifically to prevent her from healing isn't used anymore beyond that point of the game. And granted, I don't want people to be able to heal themselves in this game, but for that to be like such an important part of this boss fight and then you never use it again, I don't like that. I like for things to be useful like whole time around. Maybe there is a boss that can do that, but I just haven't seen them yet. I'm going to put her in C tier, but keep in mind, I'm a little biased because I died to her like 100 times. So I can't even really, I don't even want to, not too much on Amelia, but I don't think she's a good boss fight, to be honest. And what is this? Did I not fight this thing? What's the mechanic in the game that I find to be actually difficult? In Bloodbourne or just in games in general? If you're asking about Bloodbourne, I actually think the fact that you're forced into immediately fighting back against the opponent that took your health. Oh, this is the Witch Sisters? Oh my God, this is just unnecessary. They could have been like a side boss. They're no different from the witches that you fight in the game, like regular. They're just put in there and they're made to be invisible. That's it. Another trash boss fight. But I do think that once you go through the game, the combat is pretty good. I just wish there wasn't input. Like, I don't know if it's purposeful input delay or anything like that, but it just, I don't know, response time is really an issue for me. I feel so locked and blocky. Like, movement in the game is different from the combat. The combat in the game I think is great, but the movement in the game is another situation entirely. They don't feel like on the same level to me. So, I mean, I would say combat is good. I like the system of getting your health back. I think that's a really cool, dope system. But I think if you're going to have that be a system, you might as well have had to add flasks in the game. Because one major complaint I see about like Elden Ring or other Dark Souls games is that when you're playing the game, it ruins the pacing of the game when you start drinking your flasks because you got to come out of what you're doing and it slows everything down dramatically, which is true. But if the system or combat of Bloodbourne is going to be what it is, where you basically attack back to get your health back, and that's going to be the other way that you can keep the momentum of the fight going, then I think you should just do away with the vial system and bring flasks back, or make it longer for you to inject yourself with a flask and you have a set amount of them like you do in other Souls games. I just don't like that. I think that's just an unnecessary part of this game to me. I think you could keep vials in the game, but give like 10 to 15 like you do at the end of every other game that you play in the Souls series, and you can have it be injectable still, but just make it take longer if you wanted to keep up with the pacing. But doing that and this, I don't really know. I'm just not a fan of it, to be honest. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, couple bosses that I thought were great. You really just these that I think if I wanted to play this game again, I would be playing this game again for these 5. Literally, probably just these 5. B tier, I could do without them. I could continue playing it. I could not. Not really. I don't really care like that. And anything under B tier, bro, that takes up such a majority of this game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bosses that are kind of like mid or super versus the 7 that I think are good. Like, that's majority of the game. That's over half of the bosses in the game that I think are just mid. Granted, I haven't played this one, so this could be an amazing boss for all I know. Who knows? The secret boss is too easy as well. I mean, it could be a thing, so I'm not sure. Maybe not. But just boss fights alone, least favorite Souls game. Next to Demon Souls. And Dark Souls 2. Story, wasn't invested. But I can say that about most Souls games until I'm done playing them. And then I look up the lore. Then I'm like, oh shit, that's actually really cool. That's really great. Setting, not a fan of it. Too dark. Too gloomy. I get the gothic aesthetic though. Cool. It's just not my thing personally. Combat, good. But movement, not really. Some bullshit in the boss's move sets that I think is an attempt to make them harder than they actually are. When you get into the meat in the potatoes of them, they're not hard really at all. That's how I feel about that. And outside of that, I like how connected the game is. But it's probably my least favorite, FromSoft game. Next to Dark Souls 2. I don't think it's as bad as Dark Souls 2 though, but